Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers. It's been about 6 months since I wrapped up my original series, and in that time, Overhype Studios has actually released 2 pieces of new DLC. First, they released the Beasts and Exploration DLC, right after I wrapped up my original series, and more recently, they just released the Warriors of the North DLC, which I've been testing out over the past week or so. Now, the DLC doesn't change the underlying structure of the overall campaign. You're still a ragtag group of mercenaries trying to eke out a living in a feudal society. Only now you also have to deal with a wide variety of monsters plucked from Germanic folklore, and a group of savage, Viking-like warriors from the north. That said, my patrons wanted more Battle Brothers, so I guess we'll be taking a look at all that new content firsthand. Just like last time, we'll try to keep this pretty casual. And just like last time, I'll be keeping a waiting list running too, if you'd like to live and die for the Retcon Raiders. Now, let's get our new campaign set up here. The first thing you'll notice is that the new DLC actually adds several optional company origins to the game. This helps shape your new campaign by imposing special bonuses and penalties depending on the nature of the origin you choose. They're all pretty interesting, but in this case, we'll be going with Peasant Militia, which is what my patrons voted for. These guys basically rely on strength in numbers. They can recruit and field a lot more soldiers than normal, but they're restricted to low-tier recruits, peasants, thieves, common laborers, that sort of thing. It's a perfectly viable background, especially once you get over the initial difficulty hump. But it does hurt to lose out on those premium classes like sellswords and hedge knights. Instead, we'll be taking on a lot of trash recruits, though I will try to give everyone a fair shot, at least until they die. On the bright side, the higher turnover rate should keep the waiting list moving a little faster than usual. Let's just hope we get enough volunteers to keep the company going. I've already set the basic details of our campaign, and we are going with the Noble War just to hedge our bets. The seed is random, though. And as for difficulty, I think we'll just go veteran across the board. I like to think I'm at least competent at this game, but I'll be the first to admit I'm not particularly good. Oh, I can muddle my way through to the end game given enough time, but there are a lot of people out there who are much better than I am. Still, I do enjoy playing the game, and as long as you guys enjoy watching it, that's fine with me. The Peasant Militia. Hunt down bandits, ward off raiders, trap wolves attacking the farmsteads, all in a militiaman's work. And if more is asked, then there is simply more to answer. All to keep your home of Sandorf safe. When a nobleman called on you, you and your group of ad hoc fighters took to the field in a battle between highborn. You didn't know their names or their quarry, only that one mustered you and your men to the field. And so there you went. Unfortunately, a lowborn man with spear and shield is little more than a peasant with misgivings of warriorship. Your militia was used to hold a contingent of enemy knights in place, while your own side's archers rained hell from above, hitting knight and peasant alike. After the battle, you and your men fled the fields for good. You took up arms as sellswords and swore to one another by blood pact that you'd never have a highborn in your company. A mercenary band of motley men. And that is that. We are our own lords. Well, as far as origins go, that's not a bad one. Let's have a look at the world map here. Okay, that's not too bad. Lots of open space, a possible trade loop to the west. There are a lot more mountains than I'd like, but at least we don't have much in the way of swamps, and there are plenty of roads. Lots of uncharted territory to the west, too. I like that. Yeah, I think this map should do just fine. Now for the other important part. Let's have a look at our starting recruits. Wow, we're off to a good start here. Cocky, that's a problem. Bloodthirsty and fearless, that's quite a combination. Ah, Clubfoot. That's a shame. Nice potential, though. Company Minstrel. Interesting. Alright, all things considered, it could definitely be better, but it could also be a whole lot worse. I only saw a couple of recruits in there that I'd normally dismiss on the spot, but like I said, I do want to give everyone a fair shot. Anyway, let's hit the pause button real quick so I can get everyone renamed and re-equipped. We'll be right back. And we're back. Alright, let's have a look at our recruits here. First up, we've got Cazador the Athletic Farmer. She's got minor growth potential in fatigue, morale, and range defense. Then we've got Valinrook the Day Tailor. He's got minor potential in fatigue and decent potential in both defensive attributes. Stalepo the Snake, our brutish farmer. He's definitely a keeper, with stars in fatigue and morale, and 3 stars in melee attack. Drakiith, our Spartan Shepherd, who actually requested this character. He's got 1 star in melee and ranged combat and 2 in melee defense. Sir Skelibate, not quite a hedge knight this time, but instead a militiaman who hates greenskins. He's got 1 star in morale and ranged combat and 2 in melee. King's Rook, our loyal company minstrel. Relatively low starting stats, but 1 star in morale and range defense and 2 in melee. S. Quintus Feral, our militiaman with a death wish. 2 stars in initiative and melee combat and 1 star in ranged combat. Now, this is where the company starts hurting a little because we didn't really start off with much in the way of promising bowmen. Still, we should be fine as long as we can get these guys some crossbows and pikes. First we've got Revenant, our fearless, bloodthirsty vagabond, who's got 1 star in fatigue and initiative and 2 stars in range defense. We'll be at the mercy of the RNG for his combat skills, but he should at least have some decent survivability. Alois, our cocky poacher. It's going to be a bit tricky keeping him alive for the first couple of levels, but he's got good star placement in his defensive attributes, so we should be able to make up for it by level 3 or so. Archibald the Miller, a tiny bleeder of a man. Normally, I'd actually dump him, but like I said, I do want to give everyone a shot, so he's here to stay for now. He does have some pretty respectable defensive attributes, so he might actually turn into a pretty decent backliner, if we can keep him alive long enough. Then we've got Rabbit, the manliest of men, who's clearly not just a woman in disguise. just look at that mustache. She's got the Team Player perk, which is actually pretty handy because it randomly triggers resolve gain. She's also our only promising range specialist. And of course, you can't have Rabbit without Fox. In this case, a towering monster of a man, slowed down somewhat by his unfortunate clubfoot. Now he's definitely not a range specialist, but with 3 stars in range defense and 1 star in morale, he might actually make a good starter sergeant for our company. Goodness knows, with our fairly low average morale, we could use one as quickly as possible. So, there you have it, the RetconRaiders 2.0. They're not much to look at right now, but we should be able to turn most of them into respectable mercenaries. The ones who survive, anyway. That said, let's get over to Sandorf, see if we can get ourselves some better equipment. Home sweet home. Not much to look at. Let's see what they've got in the marketplace. Okay now, let's be careful not to overspend here. We'll definitely take all 3 of those shields. And I guess we'll take that bludgeon too. King's Rook is going to need something sturdier than his loot. We'll also take that somewhat frayed, thick tunic. It's not much, but it's still better than sackcloth or linen. Now let's just dole that stuff out real quick. Ooh, I would like a thief. They've got some pretty solid random events. Unfortunately, we just can't spare that kind of gold right now. The merchant has some interesting events too, but they're not much good at combat. Let's just see what this vagabond has to offer. Fearless. Not the best trait, but definitely not the worst either. Yeah, let's give this guy a shot. Falk the Fearless Vagabond. 1 star in health and melee defense, and 2 in fatigue. Not bad. Alright, let's slot him onto the front line somewhere. Yeah, let's pull Valinrook to the back row, at least until we can get his melee defense up. Falk becomes Jeff, the next person on our waiting list. There are actually a couple of people ahead of him, but they made very specific requests, so it'll take me a while to find appropriate recruits for them. Oh, and that leftover knife will go to King's Rook. I am tempted to buy some of that amber. We could potentially turn it into a quick profit in the next town. It is pretty risky, though. You know what? Let's go for it. No guts, no glory. Okay, now we just need to find a place to sell this stuff off. Thalwalk looks pretty promising. We'll head to Brunnenthal from there. Ideally, we really want to scout out some sort of trade loop here that'll let us buy low and sell high, at least until we can get ourselves more financially secure. Shoot, I was really hoping we'd find a contract here. Oh well. Okay, it's not much, but that is enough to get us a couple of extra shields. Normally you'd want to hold on to your trade goods until you ran into a special event that boosted its value. In this case, though, we just can't afford to wait that long. Again, we'll start by taking all 3 of these shields. We'll also grab that slightly used bludgeon. Those stun attacks do come in handy. And we're going to need some tools to actually get this stuff in usable shape. Oof, that's all we can afford to spend, so let's get this stuff equipped and then we'll move on to the next town. Hey, look at that. We actually managed to get shields on our entire front line. Very nice. We'll also switch King off to the wooden stick instead. Like I said, those stun attacks are going to be pretty important for our first few fights. Alright, Raiders, that's about as good as it gets for now. Let's go see if we can find something to kill. We'll start with Brunnenthal here. Then we'll start familiarizing ourselves with the other surrounding villages. Ooh, there's our very first group of brigand thugs. It doesn't get much easier than that, so we might as well take our chances. We really don't want to take these guys on at night, though. They don't have any ranged weapons, so the only people who'd be inconvenienced are us. We'll just stalk these guys until the sun comes up. Then we'll pounce. Alright, Raiders, let's do this. Here's hoping we can get through this with minimal casualties. Reasonable terrain. Nothing too bad on their side, though that pitchfork could be a problem. We'll just let them come to us. Alright, men. Hold your ground. Hold. There we go. Open fire. Alois gets first blood, landing a glancing hit with a hurled stone. Drakiith's knife is deflected by a bandit's bonnet. Archibald lands a glancing hit as well. And the rest of the raiders start their advance. King's Rook steps up. stunning the thug with a pitchfork. Nicely done. Skelibate moves up, but misses his shot. Jeff wades into battle. And stuns a thug with a hatchet. Skelibate moves in. No luck there. No luck with Quintus either. But Cazador doles out one more stun, leaving us in pretty good shape for round 2. Fox whiffs. As does Rabbit. But Revenant trims off a stunned bandit's ear with a well-placed warfork. Oh, Quintus takes a spear through the neck. Not an auspicious start. Not having much luck here. Drakiith is bleeding out. Skelibate trims off some armor. Not great, but better than nothing. There we go. Sir Skelibate splits a bandit's shoulder wide open. Then finishes him off with the follow-through. Quintus is bleeding like a stuck pig, but he's not out just yet. He takes stock of his opponents and neatly severs a bandit's artery with his hand axe. King leapfrogs the line, club at the ready. And he stuns the bandit with the cleaver. Nicely done. Jeff doles out a quick hit, as does Cazador. Round 3. Drakiith continues bleeding. Rabbit moves up, taking stock of the situation. Then she puts her pitchfork through a bandit thug's leg. Fox finishes off the profusely bleeding bandit. Skelibate takes careful aim and fatally stabs the one-eared bandit on the north. Revenant tears into another bandit thug, while Valin's thrust is met by a bandit's shield. Skelibate takes down a second thug, then starts circling wide to support the southern flank. There we go. Well, it was worth a shot. Jeff and Cazador beat another thug into submission. And King lands another solid hit with his wooden club. Okay, moving into round 4. I think we're pretty much done here. Drakiith is still bleeding, but he doesn't let that stop him. He moves up, breaking a bandit's will. And then he sticks him with his pocket knife for good measure. Skelibate takes careful aim, and he sinks his knife into a fleeing bandit's side. Skelibate joins the fight on the south. Valin moves to block the fleeing bandit's escape. King consistently keeps that southern bandit stunned. That's actually pretty impressive. And Quintus gets some payback, lopping the head off the last of the fighting bandits. There is still one bandit standing, but he's completely surrounded and in a blind panic. We'll put him out of his misery soon enough. There we go. Drakiith gets some payback as well, dropping the last of the bandits. All things considered, that actually went pretty well. Aside from Quintus getting stabbed through the neck, we didn't take any significant injuries. Of course, we didn't get much in the way of loot either, but it's a start. There is actually some stuff we can use here. Nicely done, Raiders. You've got your first real fight under your belts. Don't get too cocky, though. It only gets harder from here. Now let's take a look at that gear we just grabbed. Revise our loadouts a little. And like magic, it is done. I did decide to keep most of the bludgeons, though. Those stuns do come in handy. And of course we've got Quintus cooling his heals in reserve. I really should have patched up his neck before the fight ended, but it's fine. He should recover in another day or two. Onward to the village of Brunnenthal. Oh, 2-skull contract. Not quite ready for that just yet. We will stop by the temple, though. Yeah, I think we can spare 40 gold. Quintus is one of our better recruits, so the last thing we want is that minor neck wound getting infected. Nothing of note in their marketplace, though we will take this opportunity to sell off some trash. Oh, and we'll take that slightly damaged tunic, too. And now we play the hand-me-down game. Our short-term goal is to eventually phase out all these sackcloths. That's about the worst armor in the game. Okay, on to the next town. Hopefully we can actually find some paying work. Let's try Weinberg next. Signs of bandit activity. Oh, poachers and raiders. That might actually be a bit beyond our current capabilities. We'll just push on to Weinberg for now. You have got to be kidding me. Well, might as well take a quick look at the marketplace. Still no trade goods. I really neglected trading last time around, so I want to make sure I pay closer attention to it this time. I'll be constructing a cheat sheet as we visit all these towns. And a whole bunch of recruits we can't actually afford. Alright, on to Hohanau. We're almost in the danger zone here, so let's hope they've got something for us. There we go. Finally. Okay, let's see what they need. A man walks up to you and holds a scroll halfway between he and you. My name is Wilreich, representative of Alfred of Hohanau, and speaking on behalf of the good people of Hohanau. We seek your services, mercenary. Alfred of Hohanau is looking at a poorly drawn map, then looks up at you as though you're the one responsible for making it. Look, mercenary, this is a strange thing to task you with, but you seem to have a good head on your shoulders. See this dark spot here? Would you be willing to venture that way and try and find the crumbled fortifications? It's somewhere at or around the region of Willowshire Hillside. Okay, so it's a scouting mission. Those are actually pretty easy. He smiles. This will make you a rich man, my friend. You are to receive 300 crowns when the contract is done. That's actually pretty generous for a job this simple, but we'll try to negotiate. Fair. Would you accept this instead? You'll be paid 330 crowns when the contract is done. Yeah, we'll take the offer. Again, not much, but it helps. Okay, looks like we're headed east. We've got a few minutes left on the clock, so let's see if we can wrap this contract up before we hit the pause button. Hopefully, we should be able to find what we're looking for in this little valley here. Sitting and jesting with the men while they check their kit, hone their blades, and mend their armor, your mind wanders off to thinking about new ideas for improving the company and its reputation across the lands. What is your conclusion, and what do you tell the men? Time to set our first ambition. I was hoping we'd have the option to visit every town and fortification in the land. We need to do that anyway. I guess we'll go for a battle standard instead. Like I said, morale is going to be one of our biggest problems. Of course, it is going to take us a while to raise that 2,000 gold. Well, let's get started. Dum 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 dum. Crumbled Fortifications comes into view, and it's immediately reborn upon your map, to the best of your illustrative capabilities. Rabbit asks if that's all there is to do. You nod. A rough go or an easy one, Alfred of Hohanau will be waiting to pay you all the same. Time to head back. Now, that's almost certainly an undead stronghold, not the sort of thing we'd want to mess with right now. Let's just head back to Hohanau and collect our pay. Alfred of Hohenau welcomes you back. You hand over your recently illustrated map and he pores over it, swatting the spotted mark with the back of his hand. Of course, that's where it is. He smirks and pays you what you're owed. Crowns well deserved. Okay, folks, I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for the episode. We'll hit the pause button for now, but I would like to hear what you guys want from the new series. Like I said, I am planning on keeping things pretty casual, but I might inject a few small pieces of extra narrative just to help tie everything together. Oh, and be sure to let me know if you'd like to toss your name in for the Raider Militia as well. I've got 25 people on the waiting list so far, but I am expecting a pretty high turnover rate. We can always use more meat for the grinder. That said, we'll pick up here next time, as the Raider Militia continues to explore the world around them, and looks for a way to leave their mark on it. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the official Facebook page, the official Twitter feed, the FanRun wiki, or the store pages on Steam or GOG. As always, links are in the description.